Great. Okay, so welcome to today's Hug. It'll be myself, Chloe, and my colleague Rose, who will be hosting today's Hug. We've also got Amy here as well, so Amy's going to be supporting from the chat side, Q&A, and kind of any queries that you might have throughout the session as well. It's obviously being recorded, and we'll share it with you after as well, with some relevant resources in the follow-up too. So let's dive straight in. So welcome to Don't Let That Hold You Back, navigating VAT in independent education, a hot topic and one that we felt is necessary as HubSpot for education specialists to be able to touch on as well. So as I said, I'll be joined by my colleague Rose today, who will be supporting with lots of other different slides as we kind of progress through. So our background, a lot of the team themselves have actually got hands-on experience in independent education. So we've got that foundation knowledge, but that first-hand experience and relatable experience, I suppose, as well. As I mentioned, we are HubSpot for education specialists. It's our bread and butter and something that we are all as a team very passionate about as well. Great. I'm going to scoot along now just to get started and just set the scene a little bit. So before we dive into the session, before we kind of start with the agenda, we just wanted to share as well what we've been hearing from both our clients, but also just in the space at the moment. And that's a lot around the importance that schools have around communication, building lasting relationships, attracting the right students, and more importantly, having accurate data to report on, to therefore action and then share as well. So we want to take the opportunity today to showcase some features and methods to support you through these changes, and we'll be sharing how schools like yours or organisations like yours can utilise HubSpot effectively to communicate both with your prospective and current families, but also agents as well, because those relationships are key. That collaboration is really important. So we're going to show you some tools that really help you to manage that effectively. Also, we're going to be showing how you can really stand out as a school, as a brand, and showcase exactly what makes you unique. So today's agenda is as follows. So number one, understand the key challenges schools are facing. Number two, learn how HubSpot can address these challenges and improve school performance. Number three, gain practical tips, best practices for using HubSpot in a school setting, and also hopefully an opportunity to network with other education professionals and share best practices as well. There will be a Q&A at the end. We'll try and leave enough time for that as well. As I said, Amy and the team will be monitoring the chat throughout, but I'm going to pass over to Rose now to kickstart today's session.
Thank you. Yep. So first of all, some of the main challenges we're hearing in the sector at the moment. So if we go to the first one, we've got financial pressures, of course, the main thing there being the implementation of VAT to school fees, but also some other bits that are going to be impacting school budgets at the moment as well. Changes in regulation, again, the big one being VAT, but also some other things such as regulations around SEN students and things like that as well. Both of these are, of course, going to somewhat lead to a decline in enrolment, and we're already seeing that knock-on effect there for a lot of the schools that we're working with. As well as that, it is causing an increase in parental expectations. So they're paying more money, probably, if that's how you're handling the fees at the moment, so they're expecting more. Overall, if we move on to the next one, it's a really competitive landscape, and that's the main challenge at the moment that we're hearing. And it's learning how to navigate that at the moment. Chloe's just going to go in to how HubSpot can help here and help you navigate some of those areas.
Yeah, great. So over the next slides, we're going to showcase a few examples of the tools and how HubSpot can help with these, particularly around streamlining operations, also improve financial management and data insights, enhance parent and agent communication and relationships, and last but not least, attract and retain students as well. These are the kind of four main pillars that we're going to focus on today as well. I'm going to hand over to Rose to get started with the Streamline operations section.
Yep, so streamlining operations, obviously a big part of that is going to be having everything, all your data and everything in one place, such as HubSpot. Automating tasks and improving efficiency of the team. Ultimately, we're working to save time with those mundane day-to-day tasks so that you can really focus on things such as building those long-lasting relationships with your prospective parents, but also agents if you work alongside agencies as well. The other advantage of having everything in one system, you're going to be streamlining because you've not got all those different siloed systems that you're swapping between and multiple tabs, multiple platforms open, which is also going to help you probably save money because you can, in using HubSpot, replace things such as MailChimp, Hootsuite, probably some admissions programs, even HR, because you can bring that into HubSpot as well. So we're going to look at, first of all, where contacts sit within HubSpot and how they're all connected, more importantly. So here you can see we're on Homer Simpson's record. He's a prospective parent example. So this right-hand side panel, we've got all of his associations. So looking at contacts, we can see Marge Simpson, his wife here. You can add other contacts as well. And if we were to hover on Marge Simpson there, you can see we can click straight into her record from here. Moving down to deals, which is where the prospective students, Homer's children, sit. So we've got there Bart, Lisa, and Maggie, some key bits of information about them. But again, if we were to hover over one of those student names, you'll see that we could just click straight into there as well. There we are. And then finally at the top, you can see companies might be less relevant for your parents unless you want to keep a record of their place of work. More relevant if we were on an agent record, the company would be an agency. Or on a student record, that company could again be an agency or a feeder school. So we're going into Lisa Simpson here. So now on the student record, but this right panel remains the same. We've got those same associations. Her associated contacts are her parents. Option to add more, so you could have guardians, for example, as well. Again, can click straight into the other records from here. But we can see the company is the feeder school. So we can have children associated to feeder schools, to agencies. We have agents associated to agencies as well. If we click into a company record, which we will do here, you can see again, we've got those same associations. So the contacts, we're on a school, so the contacts are all the staff you have at that school. If it was an agency, it would be all the agents at that agency. And then all the associated students or children here. So everything is so easily, everything's really connected. So it's so easy to go from one thing to another. Again, it's just going to streamline and save time so that you can focus on what's probably more of a priority at the moment. This is just on a loop, so in a moment we'll just move on to an admissions pipeline. If we click on to the next slide there. So you've got an admissions pipeline here. The first thing is just along the top there, some different tabs if you want to use, but you can also have multiple pipelines, as you can see here. So on this particular, just a generic admissions pipeline example, you can see the different stages of the admissions process. These are completely customizable within HubSpot, so whatever your stages are, and you can add and remove these accordingly as well. So each of the sort of boxes here is a different student, and you can see some key bits of information about each student, again, customizable. And then there's these tags, which are really handy for things like whether they require boarding or if they're applying for a scholarship and bits like that, again, customizable. Moving students along the pipeline is a simple drag and drop, as you can see here. You can also move students backwards if you want to be able to, and there's the option to skip stages. There's also a lot of automation you can implement here. So for example, to move from one stage to another, you can have a pop-up box so that the admissions team have to tick off that they've completed certain actions or got relevant information. You can also trigger, for example, moving from one stage to another, that an email is then sent to a parent or an internal notification for a certain team member to do something. Again, it's just giving you that clear oversight. Everything is in one place. Everything's easy and quick to use so that you are really freeing up a lot of time for your admissions team so that they can focus on other things. And focus on things such as nurturing the parents through the journey rather than having to spend all their time doing the back end stuff, which the parents aren't seeing and don't necessarily feel valued from that work because they're not seeing the impact of it. That was a very admissions focus. We're going to move on to a marketing tool. This is Content Remix. So it's jumped straight in here. We're adding a piece of content. So anything you already have, whether that be a blog post, just a web page, an image, there's lots of different options there. We are just selecting a blog post that's advertising an open event at the school. Add in that content, and then you click the plus button here. And from that, what do you want AI to create? So there's lots of different options here. We're just clicking a few: an image, a landing page, a marketing email, a social post, and click next. And as easy as that, you can then click generate. So this is AI powered. So off the back of that one piece of content you've fed in, it's automatically creating all these different assets. We skip forward. It's a quick process, but we'll not make you sit through it all. That took less than 5 minutes, and then it's generated all of these different assets. There is then the option, you can see each one has a plus at the bottom to keep branching out. So from that landing page, we can ask it to create, I think we do a social post in this example. This is real time as well, so you can see just how quick it is to generate that next bit of content. So again, this is just a really exciting tool for your marketing team to save a lot of time. You can, of course, on each of those go in and edit, but it creates a great structure for you to work from. Saves time for your marketing team, lots of tools to save time for your admissions team, freeing up time to focus on nurturing potential parents, but also agents through their journey with you. Lovely. Unless you've got anything to add to that, Chloe, I'll let you move on to the next point.
I think just probably highlighting how repurposing maybe content you've already got, or just that new creation. You don't have to do it from a piece you've already got. You could do it from your website as well. It's a really exciting feature that we're seeing more and more organizations using at the moment. So yeah, I think one definitely to watch out for. It's just going to make that streamlining of content creation a lot quicker, easier, but also unified across your different assets as well, making sure that that audience kind of reach is consistent as well. We'll go into a few other features that can help with that along the way. Great, thanks, Rose. I'm now going to start by sharing some just some insights into how we can improve financial management and data insights as well. I'll highlight how gaining these insights and having the key data and budgeting can be managed in HubSpot as well. I suppose the biggest thing here is having data in the right place, which Rose spoke about previously. So whether that's student numbers or forecasting predictions, if you're wanting to compare data year on year, maybe marketing are wanting to look into campaign spend, what's that ROI? It's more important than ever, obviously, to have that insight and that clear direction as well. So to start with, the next slide I will show you is going to be focusing on how you can associate amounts to the student record. So if we hop to back to the pipeline, what we can see here is at the bottom of each pipeline, within each stage, we've then got the association between what a typical student might, the fee might be associated to that. This is helpful for SLT, for bursars. It helps them make informed decisions. As they progress along the pipeline as well, we can see the weighted amount at the bottom here. That calculates, as they move along, the percentage of likely to become a student as well, which just helps with that forecasting piece as well. Now, the amounts which we can see, so Lisa's record, which we can see here, these can also be calculated depending on what they might have inquired about. So whether it be scholarship or a boarding status, it can help you to calculate that amount too. It then, if I link onto the next slide, we can then also see the a breakdown within each stage, which again is just that useful oversight of exactly maybe what's sitting where. You can then use this to forecast. You could go a bit further, a bit deeper into the report, start filtering them, maybe breaking them down by year of entry, wanting to compare kind of year on year as well. So as well as supporting you with the forecasting, you might want to look into strategy around this. So why have we got so many sitting in X stage? Are they converting onto the next one? So things like a funnel report would be really helpful and useful in this case. So maybe looking, as I said, around strategy. So are they dropping off at certain stages? What can we do to increase that conversion? And what can we do to improve their experience with you as the school as well? Obviously, this is key data. Reporting on this is crucial, but also having it readily available for you probably is the icing on the cake here as well. This leads me into the next slide, which is around having this all in the right place. It's obviously really important to have this for that clear direction and insights as well. It helps you to make really informed decisions. Being able to forecast on your admissions, maybe how many spaces you've got available, what do marketing need to do to attract more good fit students or the right year group students if there's some that are kind of less so at the moment. What this report is showing is 2 specific stages, so offered place and accepted place, but breaking it down by year as well, so you can look at the numbers, compare them over time, maybe look into strategy. Is this year kind of on par with last year? What do we need to do to improve the offered place to accepted place? All of this data is just pulled in together, which makes it very easy to report on and easy to use as well. Other important data might be pulling reports together on student numbers. It could also be on breaking down number of applications. Maybe you're wanting to compare this year on year. So as you can see here, we've got a breakdown from 2020 right up until 2025. What was happening in 2022 that made our applications kind of so much more? Or whether you're looking at more quality over that now, we can then pull this into reporting as well. Equally, we've got application type, which is a key one, maybe wanting to break down your offering. Maybe you're also in marketing and in admissions want to be able to see where your contacts are coming from. Are they direct traffic? Are they referrals? Are they agents? We've got these insights into your contacts, and all of these reports kind of readily available as well. Great. So obviously having these reports is great to then be able to share, which you can very easily do as well. These reports, where the data's live in something like HubSpot, the data's live, the reports are then live. You're not having to go in and run these every time. They're just ticking along in the background, which is also just going to save you a lot of time. So if someone comes to you and says, I need this report requested by SLT or bursars or governing bodies, you can literally just give it to them kind of as soon as they need it, rather than having to scramble around for data and find better ways to report on it as well. Within these, we can also set reminders. So let's say that you'd like to look at your SEM provision. You might want to set reminders around certain dates. You can have these all organized in a really nice dashboard as well. Final one just to touch on, just reporting wise on key data. Now, obviously, mainly applicable to boarding schools, but maybe you're wanting to look at capacity within certain boarding houses or about your boarding students in one place as well. We've got the data here. We can click into these numbers. I can't because we're on the demo at the moment, but we can click into these numbers to then be able to see which students are sitting where as well. There's all sorts of reporting them back the other way to say, yeah, kind of who is associated with these students as well. Is it agents? Is it direct referrals, etc.? We can really break down the data. Great. I think that is everything for now, but I'm going to move on to a new section, which is enhancing parent and agent communications and also relationships as well. So now we've nailed down the data, let's look at this in a little bit more detail. The key here is to build stronger relationships with parents and agents through personalised communication. That's the key part, alongside some feedback mechanisms, also leading. This would be to improve school reputation and increase parent satisfaction. Great. So, for example, we need to be able to clearly communicate, which is the first point, to our parents and agents. This could be general updates, more specifically linking back to today's hug. It could be around VAT, so more importantly, shouting about why your school is so great, what your unique offering is, and obviously with these VAT changes, parents and agents, more than ever, it's becoming more and more of a conversation that needs to be opened up. So being able to effectively communicate this is going to be key. We also want to add in personal touches, because obviously that feeds into that relationship building too. Tools you can use for this would be email marketing, so nice branded emails. This is a kind of video that we've got scheduled here that's going to show how you can create really nice branded emails with your logos, with pictures. We can also add in personalization, so first name, last name, anything that we're capturing about them. We've then got AI tools built into here as well. So let's say we've got a paragraph about something and actually we would like to maybe refine it. We could apply a brand voice, which is linking back to the content remix as well. We might want to expand on it, shorten it. All of these tools are readily available for you. We've got CTAs, so linking maybe to directly to a form or to a link to a form or back to your website. These can all be embedded. Now the fun bit, we've got something called a smart module, smart content, and this is where we can tailor what the audience is going to see depending on who they are to you. So maybe for year 1 applications, you might want to show a more applicable picture. Maybe the text needs to be slightly different. But within the lists, which you can see here, so this version would get sent to these parents. If it was year 7, then it might be something slightly different as well. Again, you might want to change the wording around it, or the pictures, or kind of the offering that you have at those different year groups too. Equally for agents, you might want to use this to support them with sending out updates, maybe about the school, maybe use them for a newsletter. We have many schools using these nice branded emails for lots of different things, particularly for the keep warm, but also nice branded newsletters as well. We often come across teams who are trying really hard to send lots of emails to everybody, but they lack personalization, even first name, last name sometimes as well. This will allow you to do that on a higher level, but really stay personalized to what they might have inquired about, rather than it seeming a bit too generic. I suppose the importance here is the clear communication that you can give to your parents and agents as well, and especially linking back to the VAT subject as well, shouting about what makes you so unique, maybe about your core values, new experiences that you're providing, etc. These can also be automated, which we will be able to see in the next slide. So this is a keep warm journey. So we've got the trigger here at the top, which is a form submission. This is centered around an open event for this example. So it'll be centered around a specific date. And it might be that a week before, you might want to send a really nice branded email. Now, obviously, this is great for that keep warm, especially those that might have inquired a long time before. You want to keep them warm, make sure they know who you are. You don't want them to forget who you are and why they chose you as well. So these nice branded emails that we can schedule to go out around different dates as well, maybe a day before, here's where to park. We can then branch off to say, okay, did they attend? Did they not attend? If they did, take them down this route. If they didn't, send them down this route. Within these emails, we might want to send some nice feedback surveys. These would be nicely branded as well to their needs. So as you can see here, share your feedback. We can then click into that and see the type of feedback that we can gather from it as well. This will then help you to gather what maybe went well, what maybe could be improved, and also just help with your offering too. Last but not least, maybe setting a task for admissions to give somebody a call, rather than having a list of everyone that you've had attend the event and you have to go in and tick them off each time. It will just mean that you can go in and this can be running in the background. Obviously, we are not here to replace anybody. We are here just to make that experience a lot more holistic, but also timely. After events is super busy. So being able to have something as powerful as this to be running in the background and supporting you with your communication, we're seeing great success with a lot of the schools that we work with. Great. I'm going to move on to communication via different methods. Now, we've got the social scheduler here, which we can see a nice calendar view. You can also break this down by week and day, etc. We can then also break it down by accounts. So if you're wanting to break down just your Facebook social posts, etc., you can post these through HubSpot.
With that, you then get all of the nice juicy analytics and being able to analyze maybe across different date ranges, maybe campaign, maybe your audience. You want to see who's kind of engaging most across the different platforms. As you can see through this example here, there's some really key data, maybe around new contacts, sessions over time. How are people engaging with your socials? It's another way that you can communicate with your prospective families, current families, agents. You're able to break down this obviously through the different sections as well. Maybe analyze what's working. This is obviously more marketing focused, but those key data insights with regular posting, you're able to share those highlights of the school and your brand and become very consistent with that as well. Obviously in line with what Rose showed you earlier with the content remix, these obviously work hand in hand together as well. Other methods, communication-wise, that we think is important as well, might be targeting with ads, sending those nice branded emails at certain stages, as well as one-to-one, of course. But having all of these different communication methods is going to be really important for that success, and also making sure that you're forefront of everybody's mind who has inquired with you as well. This brings everything back together for both that alignment between marketing and admissions. Obviously, this is a team effort across the two. Tools that can really help to alleviate any additional kind of stress around it or just time-consuming tasks as well. Rose is going to touch on some other areas in the next session, next kind of section of this session. So I am going to hand over to the next slide to you, Rose, now.
Thank you. Lovely. So attracting and retaining students. It's all about providing a new, unique experience to build those long-lasting relationships with parents and with agents. That could be the quality of your marketing, but as Chloe said, personalizing them, nurturing them through that journey. It's all about making your parents and your agents feel valued and showing your value as well. So as Chloe showed, the branded emails and those workflows to create those nurture journeys do come into this a lot as well. The first tool I'm going to touch on, which Chloe has briefly shown, is lists. So this is quite a basic example. So the first one in sort of the top left in the background is just a full list of agents. The one at the front then shows how we can break this down further. So this is agents and in a particular country. So they're quite basic examples. There's so much you can do with these. You could have a list of students with a particular area of interest, such as sports. A list of parents who have been on your website a particular number of times. Creating these lists, as Chloe has shown, means that you can then enroll them in a workflow, and there's lots of other actions you can trigger off the back of people being in a list. It's really important because, as with the workflows and triggering emails, it means that you can really tailor your communication. Again, it's all about making the parent and the agent feel valued. If you have a list of parents and their student is interested in sport, then you can send them an email inviting them to your next sporting event. They feel valued because you've remembered that bit of information about them and you're trying to help them. You know, you're interested in sports, so come and have a look at this, see what we can provide your child. It's all about nurturing them and making them feel valued throughout their journey with you. So the next thing we're going to look at is a campaign in HubSpot. So there's a quick video to show this. So here we can see the full list of campaigns in this account. We're looking at this March 25 open event campaign. So on the left-hand side here, first of all, you can see some key bits of information, start and end date of that campaign, goals and budget as well that have been assigned. Moving on to the middle section, you've got the performance tab, first of all. So this is giving some key data, your ROI, revenue attribution, influence contacts, website traffic. These are all zeroed, sorry, because it is our demo account, but lots of key data there. Attribution as well, so some more analytics, all the assets you've assigned to that campaign. So that's what a campaign is in HubSpot. It's assigning all your marketing emails forms that are relevant into that one campaign. Internal tasks, budget, so assign a budget to the campaign and then adding your spend items as you go. And then just an activity feed of how different team members have been active and working on that campaign so that you've got a track of what's been going on. this sort of ties back in, because although that's an example of an open event campaign, you could have a campaign targeted to just increase enrolment, or it could be to promote a certain offering, promote a swimming pool that you have, or your equestrian facilities, or your music courses. It just means that you've got those analytics which you can then report on, and you can see the impact that that's having, and hopefully tie that back into then how your enrollments have been affected by that through the charts that Chloe was showing earlier. Lovely. So there's some quick examples. There's lots more within HubSpot. So surveys, which Chloe touched on, getting that feedback from parents and agents, allowing them to provide suggestions of how you can improve or what they are looking for from you. And as Chloe says, utilizing those marketing emails for things such as newsletters as well, just to really communicate, as we keep saying, really clearly communicate, timely communication, but very personalized, and just nurturing, making sure that parents and agents feel valued and nurtured throughout their journey with you.
Great. So in conclusion, that was an in-depth session, and we've crammed a lot into that 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes that we've had here. So just a bit of a recap. We're just saying that now is the time to improve your current processes and tech to easily and effectively communicate with your parents and agents, but also show the world what a great school you are and what makes you unique, because this is something that you need to be shouting about, and you should be shouting about, because every school is very unique and very different offering. So let's attract the right students to that as well. Also being able to track and act accordingly to the data that you've got, whether that's marketing ROI, student numbers, all of this data is readily available for you if you use something like HubSpot. And also streamline, free up time and focus on the areas that are most important. In our opinion, that is the relationship building side. So with all of these automations that we've got, it frees up a lot of time, so you can really focus on those key areas that are probably really important to you, that you maybe don't always have that much time for, or as much time as you'd like to have as well. Great. That is, I think, concludes our session today. So just going to open up now if anyone's got any questions. We can hang on for a bit if there are some. If not, we can then go into kind of resources and just to kind of wrap up the hug today as well.
The only question we had in the chat during was, obviously I showcased Content Remix. That is Content Hub, and if you are at professional or enterprise tier, you'll have access to that. We've just got in the chat, any resources on deals would be amazing. I would like to use these.
Okay.
That sort of, are you not utilizing deals at all at the moment? Are you just hoping for a bit of background of how they can be used?
Okay, great. Becky, we can reach out and touch base with that if that's helpful as well. We can help advise on, whether that be resources. We can always hop on a call as well. Fantastic. Well, if there are questions, there might be off the back of today, then obviously you'll have access to reach out to us, and also within the resources that we're about to share as well. So just within resources, as we approach the end, we just want to share some that we will be able to utilize as well. So for example, we've got some blog posts, some HubGem resources, HubSpot resources, particularly around obviously what we focused on today, but then also some from HubSpot themselves. So maybe a guide on data analytics, maybe creating user buyer personas as well, which you can do in HubSpot, which is also relevant to the audience that you might have as well. Next steps would be probably to sign up to our blog. We host loads of blog resources around marketing and admissions, how you can utilize HubSpot, what you should be doing, what you could be doing, maybe some ideas that you haven't thought about as well. We'd like you to enjoy your free resources, and also just keep an eye out for our upcoming hug sessions too. You might also like our previous hugs. So we've got all of ours hosted on our YouTube channel as well, which will be linked in the follow-up email too. We've also got the opportunity to join our Hug for Education community, which is a LinkedIn group where you can meet with like-minded organisations, make it a bit more of a community to be able to communicate a bit better, and also just share ideas. We're all in it together, so here for that kind of collaborative approach too. Great, thank you all for joining, and we hope to see you on our next Hub.